Good morning and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I've got some new branding on my hard hat. If you want one when you see me on the beach, give me a shout. I've got some more stickers knocking in my bag, so you can decorate those hard hats and help encourage the safety. Today we're down at Ravenscar. It's a bit of a cold and windy day, and as you can tell, the surf's up quite a long way. Nice old chunk of sandstone with the usual plant fossils in it, making it all that coal. You can see even where they were, where all this brown staining was. Unfortunately, no nice leaves or anything to take out, but we keep an eye out because occasionally you might find a dinosaur footprint or something as well. Oh, one of the things to keep an eye out for, some of these odd nodules. So very worn ammonite in here, very worn. But I was looking at what I think is the same chunk of shell that's come off of it, and I don't recognize that patterning on it, so that might be a bit different. Can't really tell with what's there, so I'll come back. I think that should be a fairly nice prep. I picked this other odd one up. So these are chambers, or what look like chambers, from the suture pattern, and if I'm correct, this is actually the ammonite here going around, and this is the center that you can just about see. And if you turn it over, what looks like the shell is here. It needs a good clean and a proper prep. But again, I don't know what this is. Looks like it might be a little Phylloceros maybe? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at this point, so I'll take that one home as well. Only just down onto the main bit of what we call the fossil ending bit. But what I will say, and having seen some reports on the Facebook groups over the last couple of weeks, all of this bedrock, it's full of fossils. They're all protected. So people have been hammering into this bedrock to get out things like what was a nice looking Hildosauros just there, and the nodules that live in these rocks. Please leave them in situ. It is actually illegal to take them out of Ravenscar's bedrock because it's a triple SI. So it's a site that's protected because of its importance, not just for its geology, but also its natural beauty. And so we cannot be having people digging stuff out of the bedrock. There is plenty, if you wander around and look in all the loose piles of rocks in there already. You do not need to dig them out of the bedrock, so please don't. So instead of looking in the bedrock, we're going to look in these piles of rocks here. So, can you spot any fossils? So first one is right there. Hopefully you can see the edge of an ammonite. That's a Rarities of some description. I picked it up earlier and just dropped it, then realized I've dropped it on top of another little ammonite, which also has nodes. So another Rarities probably. Then we've got bits of ammonite up there. So there's a bit of an ammonite right here. And a bit of an ammonite right there, so that's a Hildosauros. That one was a Dactyliosaurus. You can tell based on the ribbing and the lack of nodes, that's a Dac. That has a distinct keel, which makes it a Hildosauros. So if you have a look on the top, there we go. The distinct keel, that sort of ridge with two grooves on each side, is the Hildosauros one. And the Rarities are the spiky ammonites. You also find the Pulposaurus down here as well. Have these little tiny nodes that you might just be able to see where my thumb is here, going all the way around. Those are the main ones we find here. You'll also find pseudos if you're lucky, which are Pseudoliosaurus. They are quite distinct. I'll show you one if I find one. You also get Grammosaurus, usually around the second half of the bay, around the little headland over there. But we'll keep an eye out for other things because you occasionally get some proper rare things down here. And if we can find any bone, that's always a bonus as well. The other thing you can do is, you're not allowed in the bedrock, this is all the solid stuff, but these loose big blocks that come out, you are allowed to take stuff out of these. So you can see in this block there's some nodules, but also this here, this is part of a big belemnite fragment cone, which will extend in under here. I have got enough belemnite fragment cone, so I'm not likely to take it. But what I might do is just to have a look and see if the belemnite that goes with it is under here, because in that case I might take it. So I'll be back with you when that's all exposed. So that looks, right, that looks to be all of it, going from roughly the tip here all the way back to the end of the fragment cone. These will likely break apart when I try and get them out, but I think it will split probably along the back of the main guard of the belemnite, which is this section, the bullety bit, and then the fragment cone at the back will probably come out separately. But I'm going to see if I can get them because they go together and that's quite nice. So as expected, it came out in a few pieces, but that's the whole thing at least. So that's quite nice. I don't have any complete belemnites, including the fragment cone. So it's a good one. When you know it's wintry, when you've got hail coming down. Going in my ear. Yeah, it may not look like much, but what's falling is not rain. These are big old chunky bits of hail. Obviously chunky as far as the British are concerned, not as far as the Americans with their golf ball plus size ones. But yeah, as quick as it started, it's over by the looks of it, and the cloud bank is just rolling through. And that is just how I like my decks. And now you can all play the game too. Alright, there. I think she's probably broken on the bottom half, but might be able to take that and make a nicer middle. As you can continue to see the snowy hail come down. And if we believe the legends, there's a pot of gold either underneath this cliff, possible, or out at sea. Well, I won't be finding that one, so let's hope there's some good fossils at the end of the rainbow on this side. Maybe under the waterfall. So a big old chunk of hildy just sticking out the rock there, but not complete enough for me to want to even try out, and I think the middle would be gone even if it was. So we'll keep looking. Just picked up this, which I know doesn't look like very much, but when I got up close to that sort of black section here, it looks an awful lot like bone, and there's a little ammonite on the side. I might just take it home just out of curiosity. I don't think it's very exciting. Yeah, anything I found in this grey stuff tends to be the really rare things. Unfortunately this is heavily water worn, and I suspect missing the rest of it at the back, but I'm going to see if I can gently prep this side of it and see if there's anything more there. Because it's a heavy block, and if there's nothing more, no point taking it, but if there's something more, it is probably worth it. Could well be a Hawsker. So I've scampered quickly around to the second bay. Would have loved to spend a lot longer in the first bay, particularly, but there's a couple of seals in the top corner where the lots of rocks come down. And so I thought I'd give them a wide berth and quickly get around to this side. Can fossil hunt this, and then as the tide gets all the way out, can then scoot past them down on the waterfront and looking in all the rocks there, see if we can find anything. I'm talking whilst fossil hunting, as you can probably tell, just because I can't really stop even when I'm eating food. I'm always looking down at the rocks, looking for the telltale signs of something good. Okay, a good game for you, spot the many fossils. There's a couple of different types that I can see here, but it should be a good challenge for you. Alright, how have you done? So hopefully you've seen the giant belemnite up there. Then you might have seen the thing that I stopped to look at originally, which was this. And there's this beauty of an ammonite sticking out of that rock, perfectly ready to go. And there's some more bits and pieces, so I think I saw another little ammonite right on that block there. So let's have a look. I did. It's pretty beat up. There's another little ammonite keel just sticking there. So plenty to look at. Oh, and there's another one in that rock as well. So that looks like it might be a shell, but plenty of things to find. A very, very water-worn belemnite battlefield. So one of the things Ravenscar is known for is its grammocerous species ammonites, which is, there's one there. They tend to come in these multi-blocks. You find one, you tend to tap the block and you find it just packed through. So exactly what I've done, tapped it. There was apparently a section of another one, which isn't this one. It looks like running around the other way. And then there's another one here. So I suspect this block will have a few more in it, so we'll take the block as a whole and just leave it, or take the block home, not leave it, no. If for some reason you're struggling to find Grammoceros, which isn't out of the realm of possibility depending on the day, look for these big shelly blocks. They're kind of orangey. Give them a tap and you might find the little ammonites just chilling out in there. They do like these shelly blocks, so that's where the best bet is to find them. Another one I've just found as well is this one. Just saw this tiny bit of keel, so I tap the top here and boom. Looks a lot like a pseudo, but the middle isn't as deep as I'd expect for the sort of Ravenscar pseudos. It looks a bit like a Pseudo-Lioceras latens. Either way, beautiful little ammonite. It displays quite nicely as well. It's just right on the corner like that with its negative there. So we'll take that and tape it back up and put it in the bag. So another little Grammo for the bag. You can just see the keel there, but it actually goes all the way around. And unfortunately, so that bit's missing, and the edges are a bit water worn. But be quite a big one in there, so not too bad. I was just getting ready to hit this one because I saw a little sign of an ammonite there. I thought maybe just check the other side. Oh yeah, so there's one nice one there, another one there, another one there, and if we've got them on the other side showing as well, there's going to be a lot of them in here, so I'll take this block as is. You can tell I haven't got very far. I just put that Grammo block away and looked down and went, the hell is that? That is weird. That's a chunk of ammonite, if it'll focus, but the shape alone is just so different. I don't know what the hell that's from. I will have to check with some of the experts to find out what that's a piece of, because I don't know. It's about the nicest piece of Phyllosauris I've yet to find. So normally it's these squished, wrinkled looking big chunks of ammonite that are Phyllosauris, but this one's got its cat's paw, which is this end shape, the joining of the chambers, and some of its original shell, and you can even see some of the leafy sutures just coming up there. It's a beautiful little piece that. I might just keep it. I would love to know where the rest of it was though, but sadly not visible. So I just saw this nodule that had a likely looking thing on it, so I give it a tap, and that's popped a treat. That's probably a Paranoceros. One of the deep bodied ones is Subar matum, or the other one, matum, yeah, something like that. So one of the Paranoceros species. But looks like it's come out a treat. The middle might just need a little bit of finishing up, but yeah, can't complain at that. A piece of what was a nice Hildoceros, sadly now in lots of pieces, so not taking it home. Haven't seen many good Hildies today actually. It's been one of those sort of days where the one nice Hildie I've seen I split, and it split badly, so I will keep looking. Instead of just the fat dax, can you see the fat spiny boy? Don't know if it's all there is the problem. So right here. Yeah, such a shame that. Middle's gone. Shame. Back in the first bay, I've skimmed over the vast majority of the stuff I would normally look through over here, because there's a couple of seals tucked up in that top corner. And it's a good sign that I've walked past and they've settled back down, haven't moved. They're in a dangerous spot for the cliffs, but they're safe and out the way of the tides. And I'm going to let them rest because it's been a little rough around here, so I imagine they've had quite a day. But it does mean that I didn't stop to film anything, and I picked this up right as I got here. So that's looks to be a beautiful big Grammo there. There may be another one here, which would be really cool to have three. But there's a bit there that indicates there might be. So you see the water worn, less water worn, and if there's another one right there, that'd be really cool. Annoyingly, it's quite a big block, but that'll come back. Another nice looking, promising nodule that has got a Grammo in it there. I'll give it another tap and see if we can break it down a bit. I've been fairly careful about not picking up dax today because I got a big old bag full of all sorts of things, but mainly lots of Grammos and Grammo blocks. But that one looks like it might be worth picking up. Ah, of course. Broken. As the rain starts again, I think that just about wraps us up at Ravenscar. Gonna head back up the hill now, up there. and try and not kill myself with a very heavy bag. But it'll be fine, just nice and slow, and take a few slidey bits carefully. If I happen to find anything on the way back, not out of the realms of possibility, I'll be sure to put you in touch. And if I don't, thanks for watching. And as a treat, I've got a very short bit of the last hunt I went on out at Hawsker. Unfortunately, I've been suffering with a chest infection for the last few weeks, which now seems to have cleared. But when I went out, I couldn't film very much because I was just exhausted. So there's a few little bits and pieces from that, and I'll show you those now. And thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. So we're coming down at Hawsker, and there looks to be a little dinosaur footprint here. Not a very good one, so it will be left here. But we're in a bunch of sandstone blocks, and there might be some more in this one there and a little bit up there that look a bit footprinty, but none of them will come home unless they're really good ones, and I'll show you those when I do. I promised I'd be back with you if I found a good one. That's a good one. The beautiful little three-toed footprint. That'll go straight in the bag. On the block also a nice little bit of fern. It's lost its colour, but there's a fern lead. So a nice little block.
I'll just take it as it is.
Gorgeous Bell-Knight battlefield. A bit big for me to take. Gives you an idea. So a very muddy foot. So yeah, it's a big old block. I won't be having it, but Kev, who I'm with, might take it. He's deciding at the minute, I think. Still fairly early in the morning. It feels like with the light coming up, the joys of the rapidly approaching winter. Just got into the final bay. So you can hear busy trying to split some nodules open, admiring some of these gorgeous big old bivalves that wash up as well. Nothing really exciting to report so far, but hopefully we'll find something as we go. Not much to show off. Little beat up deck in a very pyritic nodule, but nicest ammonites so far for me. We'll keep looking. There's some nice little boulder fields, might be some stuff in it. Last time I was here I picked up another one of these. It's a little Pleuroceros, but in a nodule. You can follow its keel around and see that it's gone very wonky as it's fossilized, but hopefully that will all be there. It'll look interesting. A few other nodules. So this one, I know it doesn't look like much, a big chunk of ellie on the side, but there's obviously some more running through that layer, so we'll give this a tap. There's some decks in a very pyritic nodule. Again, give it a tap and see what happens. A nice looking, I'm assuming that's a pleuro, just eroding out of this big old block. And I say big old block, like really big block. So Kev's gonna have some fun trying to dig this bad boy out. Hawsker today has been not my favourite place. It's usually really productive, but it's just been a bit sparse. You can see that even all along the edges here, a lot of the beach has disappeared with the last big storms. So the plan is to keep wandering around that way, go around that headland and head towards Robin Hood's Bay. So we'll go back through some middle and lower lias stuff and see if there's any rare goodies as we go. And there will be a lot of this sort of stuff. The shells as we head to Robin Hood's Bay become really, really spectacular to look at. But we're going to be smacking open some of those shelly, dense nodules, not the ones that look like this, in the hope that we might find a pleuro or two. I'll be back when I've got something more.